What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the AV-7 anti-vehicle cannon. It's also known as the Republic Artillery Gun, or the Clone Artillery Gun. It was manufactured by the company Tame & Bach, the same company that made the XX-9 heavy turbo laser that we saw on the Death Star. It was 15.38 meters, or about 50 feet tall, making it the same size as this terrifying spider that tours the world doing music concerts. To make sure this weapon could get into the ideal placement on the battlefield, it actually got around by using a repulsor lift. Once it got into the ideal location, these legs would extend and dig into the ground. With a cannon this large, there was significant recoil, but these four legs helped to make it a more stable shooting platform. On the side here, you can see where the artillery shells are stored, and it's unclear what the maximum capacity was, but since we can see these three in the front, if it keeps going back, I'm guessing it had around 15 to 21 shells. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. You can also see the steps that the gunner used to get into his seat. Once in position, he had a targeting display, which he could activate using voice controls. This allowed him to raise or lower the gun, and of course fire when ready. And when this main gun fired, it did a pretty interesting thing. This gun was very similar to the mass accelerator driver found on the LAAT and the ATTE. Each of these artillery shells would be coated in a layer of plasma as it left the barrel. This plasma coating would supposedly reduce air friction and increase the penetration of the round. This is why when the AV-7 or the ATTE fire, it looks like a plasma bolt is coming out. But when they actually hit their target, we see it looks like a regular explosive round. And the way the Republic used them was to have a whole bunch of AV-7s all grouped up, making an artillery battery. Commanders would target the enemy and help to coordinate the attack with the clone gunners. By firing in volleys, this tactic helped to make up for the fact that the AV-7 has a relatively small blast radius. But by raining down multiple shells at once, we saw just how deadly this thing could be when they were able to make the droid army retreat during the Battle of Christophsis. Of course, later in that battle, we see some of the limitations of the AV-7 in that it was rendered useless by a deflector shield. And the only other time that we see them is during the second Battle of Geonosis. In this battle, the AV-7 was again rendered useless by the CIS super tank. Even though they were getting multiple direct hits, this massive cannon couldn't even leave a dent in the super tank. And with just one volley of the super tank's mortars, it was able to take out the entire AV-7 battery. And just to make its reputation even worse, that's actually the last we see of it during the Clone Wars TV show, though it is said to have been used throughout the Clone Wars. Well, that's it for its history, so now it's time for some cool facts and some behind the scenes stuff. The clone gunners that manned the AV-7 had specialized armor and helmets, which were thicker to help reduce recoil from the gun. The weight of all this armor wasn't an issue, since they spent their time on the battlefield in a seat, but because this seat was open to enemy fire, having that extra thick armor helped to protect them from blaster fire as well. And it's interesting to point out that the A-7V was a tank used by Germany during World War I. The AV-7 was the Republic's counter to the CIS J-1, and because this thing couldn't swivel from left to right, to reposition itself, it could either slowly move its four legs, or retract them again, and use the repulsor lift to adjust to a new angle. Well, that's it for the AV-7 anti-vehicle cannon. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdsLore, so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But more important than all that, remember, never use an AV-7 against a super tank, and the Force will be with you, always.